This year, much like last year, has been a strange time to be someone who loves to attend pro wrestling events. I mean, for the first third of this year, WrestleMania aside, there was no one in attendance for your favourite wrestling shows. And slowly but surely, as fans have been allowed back in, it feels like you've really been made to appreciate that live experience so much more because we had it taken away. And I've got to say, as a fan, it is amazing to see arenas packed full of people nowadays waving their signs. And on that topic, actually, before we dive into this list, I want to give out a few honourable mentions for the favourite What Culture fan signs of 2021. There was a Dudley Boys sign at AEW First Dance, and then there was a double whammy at Grand Slam. One sign wishing Michael Sidgwick a happy birthday, and the other one telling him to touch grass, which I've never seen him happier than when he saw that, if I'm perfectly honest, particularly with his favourite wrestler ever, Bryan Danielson, in the foreground. And then there is literally every single sign for Simon Miller. I mean, if you attend a pro wrestling event and there isn't a Miller give this an up sign, is it really worth attending? Do keep taking them though. We love seeing them every single time. They make us feel warm and fuzzy in the you-know-wheres. Anyway, right, let's get into this list. It was hard to narrow down to just 10, but I'm Adam Wilborn from What Culture, and these are the 10 best wrestling fan signs of 2021. Number 10, we're MJF's parents, and we think he sucks too. Maxwell Jacob Friedman, better known as MJF, is my best friend. But there are people, so I'm told, outside of the Wilborn household who don't hold him in such high regard. People including those with Friedman as a surname. You see, AEW Dynamite recently emanated from Long Island, where MJF is from, and his mum attended the show with a sign featuring an adorable picture of MJF and text that read, "The last time our son wasn't an asshole." And yet, that's not even the worst sign she's taken to an AEW event. When Grand Slam went down in September, MJF's mum and dad attended with a sign that read, "We're MJF's parents and we think he sucks too." Not only that, they were interviewed at the event and they called him something slightly worse than a flipping idiot. How did MJF respond? Well, he called his mum a dumb, disgusting slut and told her to F off on Twitter. Christmas is going to be fun, isn't it? Number 9. Why did you let LJN make your games in the 90s? Bit of a niche one, this, but if you know, you know. You may remember LJN made those ugly but now very valuable action figures back in the 80s. And then in the 90s, they transitioned into making video games for the WWF. Video games that were hard to play, clunky as all hell, and had controls that worked erratically at best. And this fan decided that at SummerSlam it was the moment to make a stand. Slightly late, but still a valid question to ask. And all I'll say after this is, if this is what he's decided to say years after the fact to LJN, God knows what he's going to do if they don't get 2K right next year. Number 8. You follow me, friend. Cody Rhodes finds himself in an extremely strange position in AEW right now. He is someone you would just assume would have been a babyface amongst the fans for life, for, you know, creating AEW, and yet now he's getting received like John Cena in the late noughties. He comes out with all of his babyface shtick, and the fans receive him by saying, "Yeah, that's not the case anymore, Cody. You need to turn heel." And granted, he sort of leaned into it a little bit by announcing he will never turn, and coming out and going, "Oh, which tunnel am I meant to go down? Babyface." That's right. Well, unless I'm coming out of my special Cody Rhodes tunnel. But anyway, back in August, the inaugural TNT champion was chatting to WrestlingInc.com when he announced that he basically doesn't believe in mid-card titles, with few people speculating that this TV title was, you know, akin to a US or Intercontinental Championship in WWE nowadays. He said, "No, that's not the case. It's on a level par. It's just, you know, a different kind of level, I suppose." And Wilson on Twitter hit him back with an interesting zinger, saying, "Truly spoken like someone who is mid-card for life." Quite a good response, I suppose, if you like that sort of thing. I think Twitter pat-out often is absolutely atrocious. But the problem is, for Wilson, Cody Rhodes responded, question mark, you follow me, friend. Yeah, you see, you can't be slagging off wrestlers whilst also simping for their tweets as well. He tried to come back by saying, oh, yeah, going to follow you because you're my favourite mid-carder. But at that point, trust me, I know, you've just got to take the L, mate. Number 7, Kevin Owens claps when the plane lands. You know, there are certain things that people can do and you immediately think, they are a bad egg. You know, like people who say pacifically instead of specifically, or when given the option of a meal deal at McDonald's, go, I think I'll pick Filet-O-Fish, or, you know, have ginger hair. Just stuff where you think, nah, something's off about these lot. Well, when Kevin Owens turned heel after attacking Big E, the following Monday Night Raw in November, I believe it was, a young fan on the front row decided to perfectly encapsulate what a git Kevin Owens had become with a sign that read, Kevin Owens claps when the plane lands. I hate people that do that. What are we applauding exactly? That we all didn't die? I mean, we should all just be quietly thankful for that, shouldn't we? And if it's not that, what are we applauding? Someone doing their job? You don't do that when someone scans your shopping. In fact, you know what? I want you to applaud me for getting this entry in the first take. Otherwise, we're not continuing. No? Fair enough. Moving on. Number 6. Punk fears Hook. And I do not bloody blame him. Look, when CM Punk showed up in AEW, there were a whole host of dream matches that people were pitching. Darby Allin, that went quite well. Kenny Omega, maybe a tete-a-tete with MJF on the microphone. But there is one feud that CM Punk has not mentioned or gone anywhere near, and he's very sensible not to do that, and that is with Taz's son, Hook. Good job, because Hook is an absolute piece who will end your career. Look, at time of recording, Hook is due to have his first AEW match on Friday on Rampage, which should mean, if my calculations are correct, by the time this video goes out, he will be AEW World Champion. So, congratulations. Also love the 3-parter of the Punk, Fears, and Hook for this sign, because just stuff like that, like the 1, 2, 3 signs, just does something for me. Number 5, MJF has the Hello Kitty Dreamcast. Another sign, another dig at Maxwell Jacob Freeman. What have people got against this guy who is salt of the earth? Alright, he is better than you and you know it, but still, what's he ever done wrong? Anyway, on an August episode of AEW Dynamite, a fan flashed up a sign that says MJF has the Hello Kitty Dreamcast, which again is quite niche. The Hello Kitty Dreamcast was exclusive to Japan in 1999 and it came in either pink or blue. And this sign wasn't just shown on TV either. Fans hounded MJF for a response on social media, to which he quote tweeted, simply saying, WTF. He hasn't denied having a Hello Kitty Dreamcast there, has he? Number 4, they're saying, Boo-urn it down. This particular sign-waving fan has already been featured on this list, and truth be told, we could probably make a top 10 of his signs from this year across AEW and WWE events. But if there's one thing that I like, it is the combination of wrestling and early Simpsons. Not, latter-day Simpsons, because that sucks worse than the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Fight me, everyone. Anyway, as Seth Rollins was making his entrance for the traditional men's 5-on-5 Survivor Series match, this guy held up a sign that said, they're saying Boo-urn it down, a reference to that film premiere when Mr. Burns' film gets booed, and he has to ask, are you saying boo or Boo-urns? And Hans Moleman does his thing. God, I love Hans Moleman. I wish he was my child. Anyway, there was also a sign from this guy at Survivor Series asking why Shawn Michaels wore his tights so high at SummerSlam 1993, and that's the real question we need answered here. Number 3, 2,766 days. 2,766 days. That is how long the pro wrestling world went without CM Punk. Alright, yes, he did make sporadic appearances on that WWE backstage show on Fox, but that doesn't really count. 2,766 days is the exact amount of time between the 2014 Royal Rumble, his last televised WWE appearance, of course, and the episode of AEW Rampage that went down on the 20th of August 2021. It is an infamous wrestling moment from this year, one of the loudest pops I've ever heard from a wrestling crowd, and it is something that no one saw coming. Sorry, scratch that. It is something that only I saw coming when I predicted CM Punk's wrestling return at the end of last year. And you know why that is, boys and girls, don't you? Because I have never made a prediction that hasn't come true. Ever. Number 2, dear gods. First and foremost, we need to give credit to the Reddit user that spotted this sign when the match went down on AEW Dynamite back in August. A user whose name I've completely forgotten, so hopefully whoever's editing this video will put his name right here so you can all go over and give him lots of karma. So Miro was defending the TNT Championship against Shotty Lee Johnson, and there was a sign from a fan that simply read, "Dear God, please tell your favourite champion not to kill Big Shotty. We like him. Also, thanks be to you for giving Miro a hot, double-jointed wife." I think the feud, the interesting dynamic, I suppose the can they coexist storyline between Miro and God is one of the ones I'm most interested in as we head into 2022. And also, let's give a nod to Lana. Well done to you for the double-jointed stuff. Moving on. Number 1. What would Kota think? In recent years, Kenny Omega has showcased a brilliant knack of being haunted by his past, and this sign perfectly encapsulates that fact. It all starts all the way back in like 2008. He saw a Kota Ibushi match and DDT got involved. He wrestled Kota Ibushi, teamed with Kota Ibushi. They both went to New Japan. And then, of course, he reunited as the Golden Lovers with Kota Ibushi after all those issues, let's say, with Bullet Club. So then, when Kenny Omega was making his entrance at Full Gear, defending his AEW World Championship against Hangman Page after being, a bell end to the Hangman, there was this sign that simply read, "What would Kota think?" And rather than just being a nice sign that people picked up on after the fact, Kenny Omega sold for the sign, stopping dead in his tracks. And maybe this is the reason he lost the World Championship that night. I will leave you guys to decide on that one, but Kota would not have been pleased with the Kenny Omega he saw wandering out of Full Gear. And that's our list. Did we miss any out? Let us know in the comment section below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. Plus, you can let us know your thoughts on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE, and you can follow me and send me all your great signs on there at Adam Wilborn. Thanks for watching. I've been Adam from What Culture, and I'll see you soon.